When you don't feel like yourself anymore, you remember who you used to be. Maybe not clearly. Maybe it's more like a faint outline, a version of yourself that laughed more easily, that got out of bed without dreading the day, that could sit in a room full of people and not feel completely alone inside the noise. You remember that person, and somewhere along the way, gradually or all at once, they became harder to find. Depression does this. Anxiety does this. Grief does this. Long seasons of suffering have a way of quietly eroding the things that once felt most natural about who you are, until one day you look in the mirror and realize you don't quite recognize the person looking back, and the fear underneath that. Realization is one of the quietest and most devastating fears a person can carry. What if I never come back? What if this is just who I am now? I want to speak to that fear tonight. You are more than what you feel. One of the most important things Reformed theology teaches about human identity is this: who you are before God is not determined by your emotional state. Your feelings are real. Your exhaustion is real. The flatness, the numbness, the sense of distance from everything you used to love. All of it is real, and none of it needs to be minimized or explained away. But your feelings are not the final word on who you are. You were known by God before you were formed. You were named before you had a personality to present. Your identity before Him was settled in eternity, not constructed by your best days or dismantled by your worst ones. The you that God sees is not the you that depression narrates. It is the you that He knit together, called by name and secured in Christ before time began. You have not lost yourself. You are hidden in Him in this season, in a process you cannot yet see the end of. And what is hidden in God is not lost, it is kept. The self that suffering reveals. There is something that long seasons of suffering tend to do that feels like destruction, but is often something else entirely. They strip away the versions of ourselves we perform for others, the coping mechanisms we mistook for character, the busyness we used to avoid sitting with who we actually are. Suffering has a way of removing all of that, sometimes gently, sometimes violently, until what remains is something smaller and quieter and more honest than what was there before. The Puritans called this the mortification of self. Not the destruction of the person, but the dying of everything that was never truly the person to begin with. What feels like losing yourself may be the beginning of finding something truer, a self less constructed by performance, less held together by effort, less dependent on circumstances to feel whole. That self, the quiet, stripped down, honest one that suffering is uncovering, is not lesser. It may be closer to what God intended all along. He restores. Psalm 23 does not say the Lord will prevent you from walking through the valley. It says He walks through it with you. And it says something else, something that gets overlooked because we rush past it to the green pastures. He restores my soul. Restore. That word implies that something was diminished, that something was worn down, depleted, emptied out. The psalm does not pretend that never happens. It simply says that when it does, He restores, not replaces. Not rebuilds from scratch as if the original were worthless. Restores. The same soul brought back. The same person renewed. Not a different you. You returned to yourself by the hand of the one who made you and has never stopped tending to you. That restoration may not come all at once. It rarely does. It comes the way mornings come, gradually, then suddenly, with light that seemed impossible in the middle of the night. But it comes. To the one who barely recognizes themselves. If you made it this far feeling like a stranger to yourself, I want to say this plainly. The person you are looking for is not gone. They are resting. They are being held in a season that is doing something in them that easier seasons never could. They are being prepared, slowly, quietly, in ways that won't be visible until later, for a depth of life that the surface version of themselves could never have reached. You are not disappearing. You are being formed. And the God who began this work in you, who knew you before you knew yourself, who called you before you had anything to offer, who loves you with a love that does not fluctuate with your emotional state, that God has not lost track of you. He knows exactly where you are, and He is not finished with you yet. With grace, whisper of grace.